Adley Rutschman, Felix Bautista, Yennier Cano, Austin Hayes. We'll start with Adley. He was a lock. There was the hope that Adley would be the all-star starter at catcher. Jonah Heim beats him out in the second stage of voting, which, by the way, I don't know why the votes don't carry over from the first stage of voting. I get that those are the two top guys, but all the people who voted for Adley Rutschman in the first phase of voting, like those votes got him there, but then they don't carry over into the second phase?
I didn't create the voting, all right?
No, I'm yelling at you specifically. This is your fault.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Dumb. But Adley Rutschman is still going to be there. It's really cool. Seattle is the closest ballpark to his hometown. He's also going to be participating in the Home Run Derby, which is awesome. His dad is going to be throwing to him. It's going to be so much fun. He's one of the future faces of baseball, if not one of the faces of baseball already. It's going to be really cool.
I love how much of a violent swing he has. Like, he kills the ball every single time he hits it.
Every part of his body moves when he swings. It's kind of like a Bryce Harper sort of thing. Absolutely. Where it's just like everything works and cool.
I think he said he's going to go lefty first, but I wonder if he tries the right side.
Yeah, I mean, at least at the big league level right now, he has had some more pop from the left side.
He did, from the right side, he did put one over the left field wall.
He did?
Which
That's
is not easy nowadays.
I think the other lock was Felix Bautista. There's a solid case to be made that he is the best closer in baseball right now.
I was looking at the numbers. I don't think that's a crazy take.
No, I mean, I think you could say, too, that he's probably the most dominant pitcher in baseball.
I think if you took a poll of all the MLB players like The Athletic does sometimes, and you said, who's the guy that scares you the most coming out of the bullpen, I bet you Felix would be up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the utter dominance of Felix Bautista.
Huge,
I mean, he strikes out, 19 batters per 9 innings right now?
Yeah.
That's insane.
He's a massive human being.
Yeah.
And he throws 103 and then has a splitter that drops off the table. Like, he's unhittable.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, the guy is just ridiculously good.
Yeah, and the ERA and whip numbers would go towards that statement, as the strikeout numbers would as well. I want to talk about the other two selections, which were a little bit more surprising. They were well-earned, but still a little bit more surprising. The first one being Yennier Cano. Simply because setup men don't typically get that much love when it comes to all-star voting. We know how dominant Yennier Cano has been. He's been an incredible story in Baltimore. Comes over in the Jorge Lopez trade last year, had been not a good major league reliever over the last few seasons.
11.50 ERA last year?
11.50 ERA, which is it's bad. It's not good. Fixes some things and then just comes out and dominates this season. I was a little bit surprised that he got the nod simply because he doesn't have the save numbers. But again, incredibly well-deserved given how good he has been this year.
Yeah. I think there was a quote where he said, I knew I could be good, but I didn't think I'd be an all-star or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And he has been filthy this season. I mean, what a story, what a comeback for Yennier Cano, going from a guy who I think a lot of people were scratching their heads when they saw him on the spring training roster, and then to be the best reliever in baseball for a couple of months. That's just nuts. I don't think even he expected that. So another guy, like you said, very, very well-deserved, but one that came out of left field, and one that is surprising because he's just a setup guy. And there's only 4 relievers for the AL.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are from Baltimore. That's a testament to this organization. So I think Mike Elias and the rest of the crew are pretty happy about that one.
And as much as we wish that Adley Rutschman was starting the All-Star Game in Seattle, as the backup catcher here, he might end up catching Yennier Cano and Felix Bautista in the later innings of this game, which would be cherry on top of the All-Star Game. The guy I want to spend the most time here talking about is Austin Hayes, because we have said it before, but we came into this season with Austin Hayes on a little bit of a hot seat because we saw the talent at AAA Norfolk, guys like Colton Cowser, who we were looking at and saying, hey, you know what? If Austin Hayes has a first half of 2023 like he had the second half of 2022, then maybe Cowser starts eating away at Austin Hayes' playing time. Maybe, at the time, obviously Kyle Stowers was healthy, so maybe Kyle Stowers would be getting more starts over Austin Hayes. But it became apparent that Austin Hayes' struggles from the second half of last season were because of the injury that he was trying to fight through and play through. And in 2023, we are seeing a pretty much fully healthy Austin Hayes. Obviously, he has not played the last few days here, hoping that this is just a quick thing and he'll be back and good to go. We are seeing a healthy Austin Hayes, and we are seeing what a healthy Austin Hayes is capable of. And that is an all-star level player. And that's really, really cool given how much he has struggled with injuries over the last few seasons, staying on the field, given kind of the narrative around Hayes this offseason. To come out in 2023 and have this kind of year is spectacular.
I didn't come into this season thinking he'd have an argument for being one of the best hitters in the AL. I mean, the guy's close to a batting title right now, if not still in line for it. He has just been everything that this lineup has needed, that this team has needed. Austin Hayes has been one of the loudest bats in the lineup, and I just don't really think anybody expected that to be the case. Kevin Brown had a great tweet when these four guys made the All-Star game, basically painting the picture that it was a lot of hard work and dedication that got them there, and nobody had an easy road. It was Adley Rutschman had really struggled in his freshman year of college and his first year on the Cape. Felix Bautista didn't make the majors until he was, 6 years into his career?
Yeah, he spent 6 years, I believe, at either a complex league or in low A.
And then Yennier Cano with that 11.50 ERA last year, and Austin Hayes battling through injuries for the entirety beginning of his career, and then coming to this point and playing up to the potential that I think we all knew he had, but maybe didn't expect him to reach. So Austin Hayes, I mean, he has been absolutely fantastic this year, and a guy that I don't think, if the Orioles didn't have him, they'd be in this position.
Yeah, and it's funny. I watched the great video of Brandon Hyde telling the team who made the All-Star game, and just the eruption for Austin Hayes, because everybody knew how hard he works, how well-deserved it was. Like, if you didn't get a little bit emotional watching everybody just freak out when they learned that Austin Hayes made the All-Star game, was really cool.